What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. In today's video, we're back again with another tier list video, starting off the month strong. And in this tier list video, we're going through all of the new characters that have arrived throughout the month of May. So on Global, that would have been Legend Katakuri V2, as well as a Snake Man Super Evolution as well. We do know that 6 Plus Inu and 6 Plus Neko are arriving very, very soon on Global, as well as the dual unit Neko and Inu, but I'll add them in for next month's tier list, so you'll have to wait for that. But anyways, let's go ahead and just get straight into it. Before we do though, I want to say that for these tier lists, remember, they are my opinion, so if you disagree, that's completely fine, and I am expecting a lot of people to disagree with this tier list. Also, you know, these characters are ranked in many different factors. Their captain ability, their special ability, their crewmate abilities, their support, what other units they can use in terms of their classes and their color, and the way that they can be used. All of that is jumbled up to factor on where they place in my personal tier list. I know some people get confused, like whether it's just captain ability or what, but yes, it does involve every single factor about the unit, and that's just the way that I would see the unit in terms of usage, in terms of how many more pieces of content is a unit more useful over another. And that's kind of how I like to structure these tier list videos. So with tier number 3, these are the characters that I consider to be the weakest of the bunch so far. If they're not on this list, they are obviously below tier 3. I don't want to have every single legend in the game because that would take forever. But with tier 3, I have definitely structured this tier list a little bit different as well. I've added a tier between certain characters and jumbled some characters around, but you guys will see as we go along. So let's start off with tier 3. Tier 3, we're going to have V1 Law 6 Plus, who I didn't have in my last tier list, or the tier list before that. I think I forgot about him, but he's back here. He definitely deserves to be here. Captain ability isn't the greatest. It is definitely usable, but not the greatest. But his special ability, no one does what he can do, and he allows so many other legends to be better. So I would consider him to be easily tier 3 at the very least for himself. V1 Sanji 6 Plus is still pretty solid. Sanji has still shown that he can beat a lot of content in the game, and going forward, he is going to be a pretty decent legend to have. V2 Law 6 Plus is definitely more on the weaker side nowadays. I don't think, especially with the release of 6 Plus Inu coming out, who is just a better captain compared to Law. It is what it is. You know, Law's still pretty good. You know, Cerebral are going to be good, especially because Neko and Inu dual unit are coming out. V2 Law's still pretty solid, but not overly amazing. With V2 Lucci, you know, he's actually not too bad. Shooters are like really, really good on Global. You can already see that Zeph is up here. I just think that in terms of all of the other shooter legends in the game, he has the weakest captain ability overall, and his special ability doesn't help out the shooter teams specifically all that much. He gives you defense reduction, which is okay. He gives you paralysis reduction, which is okay in niche circumstances. The color affinity is nice, but again, depends on what type of team you're building, and he's not going to be able to fit into every single shooter team that you build, because you're going to have different units for debuff removal and stuff like that. So a lot of times fitting Lucci onto the shooter teams is quite difficult. So overall, he isn't the most useful shooter unit to have, but he definitely has his uses. V2 Rayleigh, again, mainly just because of the fact that his captain ability is a little bit more difficult to use compared to the characters that are above him. He is a health restrictive captain, obviously below 30%. He's fantastic. Other than that, he's kind of average. Special ability, one of the best specials in the game, but considering that there are other characters in this list that have better captain effects and, you know, equal or better specials than V2 Rayleigh, I think that he deserves to have tier 3. Frankie is still pretty good as well, can run like a bunch of different teams with Frankie, can be partnered with a lot of different friend captains. That's one of the strengths of Frankie, is that even if you don't have some of the best legends in the game, you can more often than not run Frankie as your captain with a friend captain that's really, really strong to carry you through. As long as you have the right subs, you can beat content with it. Frankie's captain action as well is like really strong. I just think that in terms of his overall power, I don't see him being as high a tier as some of the other legends in the game. Tesoro, pretty much the same thing as Rayleigh. Captain effect is pretty mediocre. Special ability is phenomenal. Same with Garp. Average captain ability, amazing special ability, and really nice crewmate ability with himself as well to reduce special bind, to allow him to use his special to remove other characters' special bind status. Shiki, it is what it is. Shiki's just average in my opinion. Captain ability is still usable, can still clear content, just not as easy to use compared to some of the other legends, and his teams are kind of average as well. I don't know. I just don't. I'm not really a big fan of Shiki, and I don't think he deserves to be like a uber mega tier. But he's still a good legend. He's still better than a lot of other legends in the game. So like comparative to all the other legends that came out in like 2018, 2017, Shiki is really good still. And then you got Brook. Now Brook is not one of the legends that's going to be clearing content in like 1 to 2 minutes flat. Brook is going to be a legend that can clear pretty much everything in the game, but he is extremely slow, and the units you need to bring with him make him even slower. So I don't think Brook is that higher tier compared to the other legends, because I also would like to compare characters based on speed as well. And I mean, in terms of power and speed, Brook does not have power, but his speed is very low, but reliability is off the chart. So Brook, I think, is still a very high tier worthy character. And also Kung Fu Luffy is still very good, can be partnered with a lot of different characters, very similar to Frankie. He's a rainbow captain. Frankie is a little bit of a rainbow captain. You have to be very restrictive in the characters you can bring. With Kung Fu Luffy, you can bring anybody. Rainbow captain can be partnered with a lot of things and can beat a lot of content. So now that we've quickly gone through tier 3, let's go ahead and jump all the way up to tier number 2. So with tier 2, we've got NL in here now. So I did make some changes from last month's tier list. I've basically made the tier 1 tier from last month and like split that up so that like the better ones in tier 1 are still in tier 1, and then shift some of them down. So here we go. I've got NL shifted down a little bit just because with the release of V2 Katakuri, when I compare the two characters, they're very similar in the way that they're built and the way that they're structured, just with some slight variation, of course, where NL is overhealing, V2 Katakuri is taking damage. And when you compare the two, Katakuri is far superior in a lot of different ways. And just because of that, I think that NL kind of shifted down a little bit. So that's why I've put NL in tier 2. Robin is still very solid. I'm not a big fan of her special ability, but you can't deny how good her captain effect is, with that much damage reduction, with that much healing, and boosting Cerebral, and so, especially because, as we said before, Neko and Inu are coming out, so Cerebral are going to be getting more support. So I do think that Robin is a very solid choice still for tier 2. Tier number 2 as well, I've had a Doflamingo. This was a tricky one to put because I still think Doflamingo is one of the best legends in the game, and there aren't too many characters that can do what he does. And it's just the fact that so many different pieces of content, they restrict what Driven can do at this current point in time. Once we get the release of the Barto Cavendish batch, as well as the release of Limited Rare Recruit Pudding, I would probably put Doflamingo back into tier 1 because they get so much more support, especially with characters like that Pudding. That Pudding is so powerful for Driven teams. So at this current point, I think he should stay in tier 2. After that, we've got Kuzan. Kuzan is in that same boat as Shiki, where a lot of people don't like to use him that much because of the way that he's built, but you can't deny how good he is. And when Carrot comes out, I would probably put him back into tier 1, and Carrot should be arriving relatively soon on One Piece Treasure Cruise Global. Nami, similar thing to with Rayleigh, how like their special ability is really powerful, captain ability isn't that usable, but when you compare the captain ability of Nami versus Rayleigh, we do know that Rayleigh is a rainbow captain, but Nami's a 3.75 to 1 color, as well as giving you beneficial orbs. That's kind of hard to compete against Rayleigh. Rayleigh is rainbow, but only at really low health to get a really high multiplier, that is. So in my opinion, I did put Nami just a bit above what Rayleigh would be, as well as the fact that Nami has a really good crewmate ability that makes Dex Orbs beneficial to all characters. The crewmate abilities of Rayleigh are absolutely terrible. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but you should go and have a look because they're actually awful. Nami actually has really good crewmate abilities that support her team very well. We've got Katakuri in here as well. Katakuri is becoming more one of those characters that is going to be very slow in clearing content, but his power is definitely up there still, and very reliable as well. Has a vast array of subs that he can use, and they're only going to be further supported with the release of Neko and Inu as well. So I'm really excited for when Neko and Inu come out, because they actually help out a lot of these lower tier legends a lot, just because of the Cerebral and Striker class typing. So it's really cool. Then I put Big Mom in tier 2. Now the main reason why I put Big Mom in tier 2 is that in a lot of different circumstances, she's just really difficult to use, annoying to manage, and in a lot of circumstances, all the characters in tier 1 I would much prefer to use compared to Big Mom. The only time I would say, yes, I want to use Big Mom is if there are Dex bosses inside the dungeon itself. Other than that, I don't really ever want to use Big Mom. Actually, you know, to be honest, I would prefer to use Big Mom as a sub in a lot of circumstances because her special ability allows her herself to deal a crap ton of damage towards the enemy. Again, that's only really good against enemies that are Dex related. So Big Mom kind of has some struggles, kind of like what Nami does with her Captain effect, in the fact that she only boosts one type, and you know, she's only really good for one specific piece of content against quick enemies, where Big Mom, yes, she does boost 3 different colors, but the way that she's built is you mainly want to let her do all the heavy lifting, and that only really works really well against, Dex enemies. She is okay for other neutral damage-based enemies, but definitely against quick enemies, that is a no-go. Now, out of all the characters here that could move up to Tier 1 just by themselves right now, I think that Jinbei is probably the best character in Tier 2. He's basically a Lucy Captain effect with a very nice special ability and a vast array of subs that he can use. Strength, Dex, and Psi. A lot of really powerful characters you can use here. And also, he's an amazing sub-unit for V2 Katakuri. You know, to be honest, now that I'm thinking about it, V2 Jinbei really should be in Tier 1. He's actually, like, freaking amazing. I love V2 Jinbei. It's just really annoying if you want to ever use him as a captain. Good luck finding friend captains for this guy, because not too many people, 1, have him, or 2, want to use him as a captain. So that's the big struggle with Jinbei. But nonetheless, he is a fantastic legend character to own, especially if you're new to the game. If you're new to the game and you end up pulling Jinbei, that's actually pretty good to start with. He just has a lot of different variety as a captain, and you can run lots of different teams with him. And then the last character on Tier 2 is going to be Zephyr. Originally, I had Zephyr in Tier 3, but after realizing that shooters are really powerful, he definitely didn't deserve Tier 3. Though, comparing him to a lot of the other shooter captains in the game, I am not the biggest fan of using him as the captain. He is a much better sub for shooter teams compared to him being a captain. Still, by far, hands down, in my opinion, the best shooter captain in the game is Capone. Capone is hands down the best one. The fact that he provides so... we'll talk about Capone later, but I talked about it in my Zephyr showcase video. Just Capone does everything better as a captain. And the fact that he is orb reliant as a captain isn't always the best, when compared to Capone, who is an unconditional boost. And also the fact that his special ability is annoying because you have to have characters such as Limited Rare Recruit Doflamingo to really abuse the power of his special ability to bypass defensive effects. So that's why I put him in Tier 2, just because he is kind of annoying to use as a captain, but he still has the power and the speed to really go up against some really difficult content. Alright, so Tier 2 is finished now. Let's go ahead and move up to Tier number 1. So this is what Tier 1 is looking like in June 2019. So we've got Lucy, of course. Lucy not going anywhere anytime soon. He's still powerful as hell. Lots of variety. So many subs he can use. He just gets better and better when they release better, units over time. Better strength decks and quick units come out. It just improves Lucy that much more. So he is fantastic still. Judge even got way better as well with the latest Sugo Fest batch, because he directly supports V2 Katakuri in both forms, 6-star and 6-star plus. And also 6-star and 6-star plus version of Judge also supports this quick white beat as well. I think that this character is just going to be getting better and better over time, just because of how good they are as a sub. They're still very usable as captains, but they are amazing sub units to have as well. Luffy and Ace, nothing really to say about that. Free Spirit still pretty solid. Luffy and Ace still able to clear content. No reason why he should go up to Tier 0. A lot of people argue about that. You know, Luffy and Ace is the most broken character in the game. I mean, I don't see it personally. He's very good, but he definitely has flaws. V2 Shanks and V2 Akainu, pretty much pairing them together. V2 Akainu is actually moving down, though, from the Tier 0 positioning, because I wanted to keep Tier 0 at a very restricted pool. And comparing the characters that were available and the ones that I wanted to put in Tier 0, one had to go, and it had to be V2 Akainu. You know, that's just my opinion. But in terms of power, speed, everything, he is amazing. In terms of reliability, that's where he's a bit shaky, because you do have to hit your perfects, of course. But as it is right now, Akainu probably is still Tier 0 in my personal opinion. He's probably one of the best legends in the game. But as time goes on, enemies will end up having more and more HP, which means that Akainu's end of turn damage of only doing 1,000,000 damage might get, it might get power crept a little bit. You know, if enemies are starting to get over 10, 15 million HP, 20 million HP, Akainu will get less and less valuable. as the end of turn damage really isn't as noticeable, but you can, compare him with some of the other legends, right? You've got V2 Shanks, and with V2 Shanks and V2 Akane, you can do some absurd amounts of damage, so that works super duper well still. And Shanks is awesome. He has a lot of variety. Actually, there's some really good teams you can build with him in terms of not even just pure int teams. Like, you can run some crazy other teams as well. He actually works really well with Luffy and Ace, and you can run like a mono strength or a mono quick free spirit team, and then have this guy on it as well, so you get an orb boost and your type boost, and that works really solid as well. So, all these legends are like amazing top tier legends, but they're just not the tier 0. They're still very, very good though. And then what we're talking about before with Capone. Capone is the best shooter captain in the game. Hands down, fight me if you disagree, but yes, he is. He is 100% the best shooter captain in the game. Him and Brook are the only legends that I am missing right now, and I would love to get my hands on them, especially Capone. Capone is just phenomenal, so strong to have. He is also very close to tier 0 just because of the Big Father effect. I can get around so many different annoyances on the enemy side of the field. That's so good. He's Crew's type booster as a captain, which frees up so much space as a sub on your team. He provides 2 of the 7 natural orbs. He has a lot of health, 3.75 unconditional. He heals upon perfects. There's not much really wrong with this character. He is just phenomenal. Then you got V2 Sanji, pulled him on the recent Sugo Fest, so I was really excited about that. He's very, very fast, very strong. In terms of pure damage without activating specials, he's probably the strongest legend in the game. Maybe V2 Katakuri is going to be rivaling that, but without using a special ability, he is up there with the amount of damage you can get. Like, you can get up to millions of damage without activating specials. He's amazing, but he definitely has drawbacks, and that's why he's not in tier 0. V3 Sabo, Dex Sabo, is still really solid as well. 4.25 attack as long as you keep killing stuff. Awesome. He has an HP boost. He gives you more chances of matching orbs. He's an orb booster for 3 separate classes. An amazing sub for V2 Katakuri. An amazing sub for the shooter squads, who are arguably one of the best teams in the game. Not much really wrong with this guy. He is phenomenal. Such a good unit to have. And his support ability is pretty interesting too. So Dex Sabo, definitely deserving of tier 1, 100% better than every single legend in tier 2 in my personal opinion. And then Quick Whitebeard as well. A lot of people actually used Quick Whitebeard to farm the latest Luffy versus Katakuri event. He was decimating it, which is pretty surprising to see. And he boosts 2 separate classes, Striker and Powerhouse. He definitely gets a boost from V2 Katakuri coming out as well. Him being a sub on Katakuri teams, or Katakuri being a sub on Whitebeard teams, just goes to show how powerful those teams can be. So yeah, I think Quick Whitebeard easily deserves tier 1. I think that's pretty straightforward for a lot of people to understand, and I'm pretty happy with how this tier list has gone so far. Tier 1, I'm pretty comfortable with all these placings. And now we've come to the time where we talk about the final tier of my tier list for June 2019, which is going to be tier 0. And of course, the number one spot here. Well, these are ranked via ID, by the way, but definitely the best legend in the game, in my personal opinion, is Gear 4 Snake Man. I have also partnered the Quick Gear 4 as well, because Quick Gear 4 is still really, really good, but in my opinion, I do think Snake Man is better. Some might disagree, but I think that Snake Man is just absurd. Cooldown reduction, he has a health boost, natural orbs, more natural orbs as matching, 3.25 rainbow. When you use his special ability, it's kind of like TSL, where you get a 4 times boost for 3 turns. He gives you lots of beneficial orbs when you activate his special, and because he is a powerhouse unit, you can run the Zunisha ship to make your recovery in tandem beneficial. There's not much wrong with him. I forgot to talk about his special ability. 1.75 to 2 times orb boost over multiple turns, and you can carry it through multiple stages and bypass enemy interrupts, so that's amazing. He's a combo booster as well. He does a lot of damage when you activate the special. Like, Snake Man is just that guy. He is that guy, and the fact that he's rainbow is just absurd, man. Like, Snake Man is the best legend in the game, and if you disagree, then fight me. Then we've got Whitebeard and Marco. Pretty self-explanatory, one of the tankiest legends in the game. Works very, very well with both of these guys, actually, with Katakuri and Snake Man. They both work very well with Whitebeard and Marco. Like, all these legends actually work well together, which is the most surprising thing. And then obviously Katakuri, man. I had to put my boy Katakuri in tier 0. I do think he deserves to be in tier 0 as it is right now. Some people might disagree with that. Okay, that's just, as I said, it's just my opinion. Katakuri is that guy, though. I said Snake Man is that guy, but Katakuri is that guy. 4.66 multiplier with type advantage. One of the best special abilities in the entire game. Can be run as a sub on lots of different teams, namely Whitebeard and Marco. You can be very, very tanky. You can heal. You can get his special ability to max relatively quickly. You can use characters as a sub, such as Corazon, to utilize how good Katakuri is with the limit break ability of Corazon, allowing you to heal on like the very first stage of a fight, allowing you to get more tankiness, to get more damage output on his special ability. And the thing is, you don't even have to activate his special ability for him to be like OP, right? You can just, take a little bit of damage and activate it on a mini boss stage. You can rely on his amazing 4.66 multiplier and bring type advantage units with the right special abilities to avoid debuffs, and that can allow you to kill content very quickly. Katakuri is phenomenal, man. Like, you obviously can run him in that really slow type of build, which is the easiest way to run the character in order just to build up his special ability and then just burst on the final stage with his special. But you can run him very, very fast with that amazing multiplier. But I don't know, I just think that, Katakuri, the way that he is right now, he definitely deserves tier 0. Though, as time goes on, Katakuri will fall off. Very similar to how Doflamingo, falls off. They basically bring out content to directly counter what Katakuri does. But as it stands right now, Katakuri is going to be okay for at least a couple of months. So I'm excited to use him, that I did pull him in the Sugo Fest. So I'm very thankful for that. But that is it. That's the full tier list for the month of June 2019. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys disagree, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Maybe I could add maybe one more character into tier 0, and that would probably be Capone. Yeah, I think Capone, out of all the legends here, is probably closest to tier 0. Whitebeard's pretty close too, to be honest. And then out of tier 2, the ones that might go up is definitely when Carrot comes out. This guy will probably move up. And Jinbei is actually pretty close to moving up as well. And in terms of tier 3, I don't know. I think these characters are pretty okay where they stand right now. I think Sanji's probably the most usable character out of all the characters here to go up. Law is phenomenal, and we already know how good he is, but I just don't think he's good enough to bring him up. But, if you're on the combination with this guy and this guy, that works really well. And obviously Law works very, very well with V2 Katakuri. But anyways, that's it, guys. That's the tier list video for this month. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.